Older women have read it. What is something young women are doing that puzzles you? Buccal fat removal surgery. Very gonna regret that shittle now. Say more. It's permanent, and your body will never make more of it. Buccal fat removal ages the face immediately, which isn't a problem for most women in their 20s, but as they actually do age, there is a high likelihood that they will need to constantly get fillers for the rest of their life to combat the side effects of significant premature aging. Even when skinnier, I've always had baby fat face. Hated it, but now at 43 I have no wrinkles and people assume I am at least 10 years younger. Slightly awkwardly, as I have a 19-year-old daughter. I wish I'd realized in my 20s that it wasn't your curse. I was cursed with a baby face in my 20s. In my mid-20s I actually had people ask if I was skipping school. In my late 20s I had co-workers and vendors calling me kid, and I took to overdressing for my job, just to be treated like an adult at work. Then in my early 30s I got carded in a bar and was happy. In my late 30s people asked if I had just graduated college, and I was happier. All through my 40s people assumed I was 10 years younger. That trend is going strong in my 50s. I love my baby face now. I have baby face too. It runs in my immediate family. People asked my dad if we are brothers, which is weird. I hated 20s because girls thought I snuck into the bar or knew the bouncers. I don't worry about it much now, but I'm surprised with online dating because to me many people look much older than their stated age. The overdone lip injections. I can't wait for this trend to die. I'm 26. I went to high school with a girl who has lip fillers, and every time I see a picture of her, those damn lips are all I can look at. They look so goofy. I know a girl who got them at 21. Before then she was honestly one of the prettiest women I have ever seen. Reddied with blue eyes, and just the fairest features. Now she looks like a clown. Same thing with someone I used to work with. Honestly, it's your body, do whatever makes you happy, but I'm baffled that they look in the mirror and don't think they'll look like they're having a bad reaction to something. No joke, one of my best friends texted me like 2 weeks ago saying she thought she was having a bad reaction to something because her lips looked like she had filler. Lol. Blasting pictures of their young children all over social media with 1,000 followers. My sister posted a pic of my new baby and tagged me in it. Started getting weird friend requests from people across the world out of nowhere. I hadn't had a friend request in 9 months. I had actually asked her not to post the pictures and she did anyway, so I never sent her a pic again. Before my son was born, I asked everyone to keep my kid off their social media. Mine is restricted to friends and family only, locked down pretty well, and difficult to find, because I don't use my first name on there. I don't know who other people have on their pages, but my kid didn't need to be blasted all over their pages to see. My son was born via C-section around 5 p.m. The nurse asked if I wanted a picture taken on my phone to show my mom and niece, who were in the waiting room. Said yes. She went and got my phone from my mom, took a couple of photos, and gave it back to my mom. She sent it to herself, then to close family members. Within 10 minutes, my sister had it posted on all of her social media pages, and was acting as though she had been at the hospital with me all day. My 16-year-old niece, her daughter, called her and told her to stop, to take it all down, and do as I'd asked. She apparently got mad, but finally did it. I found out about it the next day, and thanked my niece, but it started a whole thing that ended with me finally just blocking her on social media, because she wouldn't do one simple thing. Your niece is pretty damn smart. Well done makeup including contouring. I'm an old hag, and never mastered the art, and now it seems like everyone is able to do it, and no matter what I still look like a rodeo clown if I try. Young women who are into it seem to watch a couple of videos, and become total artists. Beginner tutorial. Find the right shade. RA and I am done. In your defense, they have so much more access to everything. Tools, variety and education/information. I'm in my 30s and I learned how to do makeup by reading the tutorials in magazines like 17 and Teen Vogue, and the backs of the eyeshadow palettes. Brushes were for professionals. We got those sponge applicators and the wedge sponges for foundation, and the powder puffs and the CoverGirl loose powder pots. You maybe had a fluffy brush for bronzers if your older sister/cousin/aunt gave you one. The lack of variety in options was wild. Foundation was thick liquid or gag mousse, and it was all orange or pink tinted. The bronzers/blushes were all powder, and your brow pencil was a brown eyeliner, if you even did anything to your brows besides plucking. I think it was the dawn of the YouTube makeup tutorial that changed everything. Suddenly there was widespread demand for accessibility to better options that these women were using in these videos. I remember watching Bibexo's tutorials for makeup and hair, and it changed the game for me. My goodness, I remember learning from Bibexo and Michelle Phan. And a ton of Wet n Wild palettes. Whenever they put out anything limited edition, I was all over town looking for them, lol. Crying on the internet. I am talking full-on snot bubble crying. Maybe it's my childhood trauma talking, but I can't fathom having an awful thing happen to me, and then whipping out my phone to tell my followers about it. Maybe BC I have no followers, I just bury it deep and slap on a smile like my mom taught me. I think there's also a massive difference between ending up in a situation where you become vulnerable and you don't hide it from others to see, or being in your room sad and deciding to start a stream showing your vulnerability. I think the first case can be a mature and healthy thing, not sure about the latter. To your point, I always think about the difference between vulnerability and performed vulnerability. Apostrophe like you said, vulnerability happens in those odd, uncomfortable moments where you say, feel more than you'd like to. Performed vulnerability is sharing what sounds to be vulnerable, like a traumatic story, as a means to an end, to get something out of a situation. It can build false intimacy, portray oneself as strong, look good while crying, get a desired response out of a situation. Sometimes have to ask myself, am I being actually vulnerable or just performing it? You mean to tell me it's performative when there's a video of someone crying on camera, and the lighting and framing are on point, and the video happens to be between 10 and 11 minutes long? Big, fluffy false eyelashes. I tried it once, and it felt like caterpillars on my eyelids. They had to come off right away. I don't know how they stand it, but I admire their skill. Edit. Just wanna make it clear here, I'm not about shitting on the aesthetics of young people. You do, my sweet children. It's just not for me. Right parenthesis. My generation laughed at Tammy Faye Baker's eyelashes. This generation aspires to them. It boggles me. This generation loves wearing glasses, I think. 2000 and earlier, and kids with glasses got made fun of. A fiend's daughter ended up needing glasses, and she was excited. When mom started talking about contacts, the daughter shut that down quick. She wanted big, silver dollar-sized lenses in her glasses. Yeah, I had to get braces as a kid, like at 10 in grade 5 in 95-ish, and I was bullied mercilessly. Not to mention I was overweight, and poor too with messy hair, but that's not part of this convo. Q2 now, and my 12-year-old stepdaughter just got braces, and she was stoked. She loved them, and was looking forward to them for years! I must say that this generation has done so much better at treating each other kinder. I can't speak for all schools, of course, but my kid's school teaches love and acceptance for everyone, and that just warms my damn heart. She's really kind to kids of all backgrounds, despite the fact that her mother and stepdad of a year are very homophobic, racist, religious, etc. Don't sell yourself short. This generation may be incredibly kind, but they were raised that way by kind people. Taking pictures of yourself all the time. Even as a younger person, I can't imagine doing this. My niece takes pictures of herself crying to post online. I would never, even in my most emo days. Ooh, that's gonna be some cringe for her in like 10 years. I still shudder when I think about the nonsense I used to share in my live journal. There is probably a reason why journals/diaries are meant to be private. There was a guy in my high school who was a huge douche, but I will never forget the day we discovered his dead journal name was everlasting_dear. Damn, I had forgotten about dead journal.